Hey everyone, it's Chris, or now known as RC Helix, which is my new artist name that I revealed a couple days, actually yesterday, to our patrons who got to know that first, and some of you who are just joining now, who've been following the fandom, get to know I've been kind of teasing that I have a new artist name that I was going to be revealing soon that was really appropriate for this chapter, and I think it was a good time to do it during the Kickstarter. So. That's my artist name. So if you see RC show up, RC Helix is my new artist name. So it's great to see all of you tonight. I have to be honest with you. We had a completely different thing planned, and some amazing things have happened today that have really overwhelmed us emotionally because of the amazing support that you guys have all brought into our community and a bunch of new people who've showed up into all this. So I want to welcome all of you, the fans who've been here with me on this journey for a long time, and all the new folks who've come in here too. I'm sure some of you guys who've come into our Discord since we started have noticed what an awesome community we have. We have such a really, really, really wonderful community here that I'm really, really excited to share with you guys. This is not pre-recorded. I just saw that go through the comments. No, this is live. So I am talking to you live right now. Like I said, this is a big night for this project and for this fandom. The road of being an indie creator is long, and it's difficult, and it's fraught with ups and downs. And I have been working on developing this particular universe for many years now. For many of you who may be new to Flux Destiny and don't know who I started my career. I spent many years as an executive at Funimation. So I used to produce anime and movies and live action and sound and music albums. I ran all of that, and so I had all this experience over the years of telling stories and how to produce things. And I wanted to make my own universe, and that was the genesis of Flux Destiny. And that's why today was such a emotionally powerful thing for me as a creator, because this road has been so long, and getting to this point and seeing the kind of support that we've gotten today has, like, I was talking to Ella today, and both of us were just like spellbound. We couldn't believe it. We live in a time period of, unfortunately, lots of reboots and no originality anymore. No one is willing to take risks, and it's so important that you support the indie creators out there who are creating new amazing properties. There are so many out there, and I've run into so many of them, so many passionate creators who are doing such amazing work on their universes. It's not easy. It's a very difficult thing, but it's something that indie creators like myself really enjoy doing. I absolutely love building Flux Destiny and the universe and the karmastry magic system, which took years to develop. I even have somewhere in my diary, I have this online journal, call it a journal, online journal that I use, that I even took a picture of the day that I came up with the name karmastry, and put it up. And it was such a big deal. Many people here, we talk when we do our Patreon live streams or do other live streams. We reminisce on the old days when it was just me. I was just this startup artist in, streaming on Facebook, doing karaoke lives. And, we've come a long way since then, a very long way. And I have to say that having the support of this amazing fandom has allowed me to get here and to get to this point and to go beyond. And we're out to change, the landscape of storytelling, because, like I said, it's creatively dry out there. And so people have seen how much love we've poured into Flux Destiny and to the characters. And now that the story is moving into the mainline series, it's a big milestone for us. So I wanted to do a couple things tonight. First, I wanted to say that a deep, deep heartfelt thank you to all of you who supported. I'm going to actually share some numbers with you guys that are going to be pretty amazing from what happened today. But I want to first say, for anyone who's new, who's joining in, who hasn't joined the Kickstarter yet, I wanted to give you a little bit about this community, what it's done, and where we're going with it. So thanks to this community, we have hit, last week we were hitting #2 on the up and coming on Webtoons, which was it was kind of like a warming up for this big task ahead of unveiling this big series that we're going to be finally telling the whole story about. And so that, just from our one shot that we did to get the production all warmed up, we had hit, you can see on your screen over here, we hit #2 and up and coming. It was amazing. It caught us off guard, and we were really proud of that. And we brought in a bunch of new people, and you guys helped make that happen. But what you also made happen today that really blew our socks off, if you look below, we are at 64% funded on day one of this project. 64%. The amounts that were pledged during this period, we were seeing unbelievable numbers coming in. People who were just really showing how much they believed in this community and in the universe itself, in what we're building in the story. I cannot explain to you as a creator what a big deal this is. It took me years to get to this point, and to see this, and how many Kickstarters can reach 64% in one day. And the day's not done. It's only been 12 hours, right? You know, it's totally possible that we could hit 100% before the morning, which would be amazing. It'd be amazing, but it's because of you guys. And it is deeply personal for me as an artist and as a creator. And I have to be careful that I don't get emotional over this. I was like, I'm going to keep it together. I'm going to keep it together for this. But for you to commit to this community and to commit to this vision by supporting the Kickstarter I'm at a loss of words for it. I don't have words to support that. And I'm getting word now that we're at 77%. It just happened while we were live, right? And so we're at 70. That's crazy. We're at 77% as we're on this. This is like, it's a lot to take in. It's a lot to take in. And I'm getting all the like updates as we talk. And so I'm sorry, I'm getting like Ella's sending me the updates elsewhere, and I'm seeing them. I'm getting a little like choked up about it. Like I can't believe it. I want to tell you guys that, you know, and I know these aren't little numbers. What's funny is that the backers, the amount of money that each backers put in was enormous numbers. And you're going to be really proud of this. You're going to be really proud of what's coming. And you know what I also love is that how proud you are of the community. You don't know how many emails and messages I've gotten over the last couple of days of people who have been talking about how much they love this community and how they felt welcomed here, and how they've made lifelong friends. I know people who've become roommates, or romantically involved, or lifelong friends through this community. And that means a lot to me, because I wanted to create a place where not only could we tell a great story, but everyone could enjoy the friendship and the universe together. That's what led to the Flux Fantasy RPG, which, as you all know, was so important for me, because I wanted to create something that was so deeply detailed and authentic that you could even play in the universe. That when you were reading the story, that you would be exploring in the same universe that the main characters are going. You'd go to the same places, and you could have, adventures with them. In fact, Ella, who I need to stop and give a huge, I cannot say enough, shout out is not the right word for Ella, okay? Because Ella has been sleepless nights after sleepless nights with me doing this, and I could not have done this without her. And she has been such an amazing part of this little indie studio, not only helping run the community, building the RPG mechanics, and then helping make this all possible. I just big cheer to Ella out there. She is just, we are so lucky to have her, and I feel fated that the universe brought us together. So I just need to say that. So now that we're at this point that we're at 77% as we're talking about this, we want to talk about, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little, like I said, I'm choked up about this because it's a lot to take. I wasn't expecting to be at this point today. Our goal was, hey, can we hit 22%, 20%? That was our goal. Ella and if we can hit 20% today, we're going to be good. We could be funded by tomorrow, which would be amazing. And the thing is that the project was going to happen regardless of the funding. And you all know that I have been doing this for some time. I've been personally funding the Flux Destiny universe for years, and the development of it. And also, thanks to the support of people who are on Patreon who are supporting Flux Destiny, it helps out a lot too as we've been developing this and creating this community. Your support helps us bring these two and their story and this universe to life faster. I was already working on the manga, or the graphic novel, but being able to get your support helps me hire additional help to make me do it faster. Because as you'll see in a second, just to review, I want to show you how epic this is. This story is going, and I'm sorry it's over my face, but I cannot move my chair properly. So I just hope that, I just hope you see this. This is an 18-volume story. Originally, it was going to be a novel series that I was going to write, like a normal book series, like the Fortuna's Rings book I did. And the years of developing that helped me develop, in the end of the day, a graphic novel. And I realized, no, this is the story format it needs to be told in, the format that it started in. Back in the early 2000s, when I started off in webcomics, I had done really well with webcomics at that time, and I found my confidence again through this whole process. I know there are a lot of artists out there who struggle. I heard from some of them during today who they were artists, they want to be an artist, they want to draw more, but they've lost confidence. And believe me, I have been there. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to just go to books. I lost confidence in my own art, and I realized, what is wrong with me? I can do this. And so this right here is the plan. We got 18 volumes. Each one of them is going to be 200 pages each, and they'll be in this manga-style black and white format. My goal is, with the support of Kickstarter, if we can get overfunded, I can bring in additional help who can make it faster. If I can overfund this and bring folks in, we can get to 2 volumes a year. I want to release 2 volumes a year. That's my goal. Hitting this first hurdle of just hitting the funding helps bring in some help, but to get to the point of releasing 2 of these a year, I need the additional help, which puts us on par with major manga releases, right? Putting out 2 of these a year, doing 18 volumes. That's 5,400 pages, right? So it's a big deal, and you guys are helping me make this happen. I want to show you that for some of you who are new or who are considering backing this Kickstarter, if you haven't already, in addition to that, it's all been planned out. So here on the screen, again, it's over my face, I'm sorry. If you look at this, little graph here, you can see that I have planned all this out. All 18 volumes have been planned out. There's 8 major arcs. There is a full, they're all this interconnected character arcs are all figured out, and it ends with a bang. Now, you can't read this. It's obvious. It's pixelated, so you can't really read. I purposely did that. Obviously, I'm not going to spoil what is going to happen, but you can see it's here. It's here, wherever it is. So all 18 novels and the whole story has been figured out. Even getting to the point where I had to determine, how do I convert the books that I was writing, that were going to be 7 books, into graphic novels, took some work. What's the conversion? How do I do that? And I had to do all this stuff to get to this point. But this will show you that this is not me, oh, I'm just going to kind of be going through this. No, it's been figured out. And so there's not going to be any filler episodes. There's not going to be any of that. It's going to be the story that we're moving forward. So this was the result of years of work to get to this point. So with that, I thought it'd be fun to do kind of a Q&A and to also get Ella on here with me to start doing some talking about what the story is about and where we're going with it. Before I do that, I want to throw a huge shout out to, and please forgive me if I don't remember, like I don't pull everyone's names out, but I know that we have major backers who've supported us today. Jessica, Boofy, Mal, Entity, you know, I can go down the list. I know so many of you guys showed up today in a big way. Joe, you know, all of you guys have showed up. And again, I'm sorry if I don't have everyone's name off the top. Ruben, I know you guys, Mark, Katie, all of you guys have come in such a big way. And Jimmy, who just came in to our universe today, made a big contribution. So we really appreciate that. And that means a lot. It means a lot to me. So I'm going to bring in Ella, and so we can have a little chit chat here. So hold on, Ella. There you are. Can you hear me?
Hey, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. I'm
Well,
good.
as if we
I'm
always talk
crying.
like that, as
I'm
if we
crying
haven't spoken
tears
to each other.
away, you know.
Oh, Ella has been like super emotional today. Like all of us have been. She, poor thing. She was last night. Last night. I went to bed about 3 in the morning because I was still doing stuff. I was finishing up the poster and to put up on there, and there was so much work that had to be done. I woke up this morning like I didn't know what day it was or anything, and Ella woke up and was already ready to go. And I think I wrote something like that didn't make sense to
You
you.
didn't it didn't make sense. It was something very random. You were like I am bringing coffee. We'll go now. And I was like, "Okay. I'll see you there." Um, but
No,
yeah.
that was, and so I was like, just push the button, just make it, just do it. I was like, I can't anymore. And we, you know, within a minute, we had our first backer, and it was just awesome. So Ella, you know, I've been talking my head off. You know, what's your experience, man? What are you getting out of this? And
I I can't believe it. I am trying to pull my inner actor out right now and not like just like burst into tears because I just have never experienced. I've been in animation, you know, for a long time, and I've been a part of a lot of fans who were very dedicated, you know, and raised a lot of money, but never have I felt so supported, you know, by a wonderful creator in RC and the fans. And I have never felt this like love for a universe that is going to be so epic and it's going to be so cool. And it's like we haven't run any ads. You know, we have not run any ads. We all we did was call on the people that we know and trust, and it was like it blew up. We had no idea. We thought we'd be lucky to get 700. We were like, this is gonna fail. Like we were so worried, but we knew. We were like, we have to do it because the story deserves to be told, you know. And so here we are. We're at the point where Marco and Hugo were like, let us out. You know, they were like they were like
yeah,
screaming. You know what I mean? They were like, if you do not let us out, like we're gonna like burst out. You know what I mean? And so they did, and that was the result of this. And we have been working like just days and days and days on end on this, and we're so grateful that you guys have been enjoying it, and there's so much to come, and there's so much cool stuff that we're working on, and this is just the beginning. So we hope that you're surprised and delighted and excited and are enjoying the rewards and the new things that we have in there. And yeah, I
well,
don't
I
even know what
mean,
to say.
on top of that, so what's amazing is on top of that is the support that we've gotten. Like Mark, for
Yeah.
example, who's a friend of mine and has been started off as a fan, became a friend of mine, who's been with us for many years, supporting and being a champion
Hmm.
of Flux Destiny for many years. You know, he's always putting stuff out. He was one of the first backers on this. Like, that kind of support helps us a lot, so we want to grow this community and make people more aware of what we're doing and the work. And that kind of commitment, having you guys, that kind of passion. And it's funny because Mark was always the first one going, when's the book coming? When's the book? And I was always like nervous because it's like, I'm almost ready. We're almost there. And I didn't want to disappoint him.
There.
Didn't want to disappoint him. So it's just having you guys help, because this lady also did the trailer. She's the one who did the awesome trailer. If you haven't seen it, tonight when we close out, I'll play the trailer again for you guys, but you can also watch it on YouTube. And what's awesome is like people who come into our community really get into it really quickly. Like one of our favorite new recruits who came in this year, Entity, who's joined us recently and was a major, who joined in the Kickstarter, came into the RPG. We got Jimmy who came in today, who was a big supporter. We have all these folks who are coming in, and I can't wait for them to get into the RPG stuff with you as we move forward. It's going to be fun.
And our silent supporters too. We have so many people who watch and, might be shy about commenting or shy about being in the Discord, but are still there and are supporting us and liking everything and sharing it. There's no small act. Every like we fight for and we cheer for. I mean, RC and I, like, when somebody comes in the Patreon for $1, we like are texting each other like, oh my gosh, did you see? And it's like, it's $1, you know what I mean? And you think like, oh, these artists, like My Hero Academia has millions of dollars, and it's like, yeah, but like we have always fought for every single dollar, and we will, from now until the very end, we will celebrate every person that comes in and be excited about every new face, and one day, I really hope that we can, look back at this and like be excited. And anyway, I'm sorry, I'm like lost for words.
Yeah, no, and we joked that one day, not joked, we want to one day have our own little like FluxCon, right, where we can all get together and meet a lot of these folks. Many of these folks who've been following me for years, I've never even met in person, which is crazy. We've been friends for so many years. So it's, I don't know, it's big. And so, let's talk about the story and what's going to be coming. So you guys know what's coming. It's funny because Ella has been a big driver in making me go faster, which is another thing that was great, was having her push me, because I'm the type who I like over obsess over every detail, which I think has had its benefits. I think this universe's foundation is really solid. We have great lore conversations in Discord. We have this awesome wiki, thanks to Eddie, who started it up. It's been a whole community effort getting this thing together. So let's talk about the story, Ella, because I think that, that's where, funny story before we do that, I just want to say that I told Ella for the longest time, I had to do all this, like, character art of Hugo. Is like, Hugo's kind of our dancing clown while we're behind the scenes constructing, it's like when you go to the airport or something and it's like coming soon. It's like we had that up, and behind the scenes, there's like Hugo's outside, like, doing his thing while we got ready. And now it's like, okay, now Hero Hugo gets to come out. So
yeah, well, going off of that, I mean, why don't you just give us like the briefest, non-spoiler synopsis of what we can expect from the first novel? Because like we're gonna see this in like a month, basically.
Yeah. So the first page is, so just so you guys know the timing, if you're on Patreon, the Patreon members see it first. So you guys will see it on November 23rd. The first pages will start dropping. And then a week after, Kickstarter members will all be getting a special login, so that you guys, if you're on Patreon, you'll see it. If you're on Kickstarter and Patreon, obviously you'll see it. If you are on Kickstarter and not on Patreon, you'll see it a week later in its own, I just got an update from Ella. We're at 80%. So wow, that's crazy. That's awesome. That's awesome. I can't believe it. Like, I'm gonna start. Are you?
needed to do it until this moment so they could see us cry. That's
Yeah,
really
I
all.
think you want me to cry, and I'm such a tough guy, right? Like I'm not, I can't, I gotta go. I'm the kind of guy who's gonna go to my like room and cry silently, you know. Actually, I cry very ugly and usually over a can of Coke Zero. But anyway, this story is going this story so what we're going so what's happening now that book one is about, and it all goes in chronological order. So book one follows the story. We're introduced to Marco and Hugo canonically in this world,
Mm.
and we get to see the circumstances behind, there's always been like, well, what happened to them? Why are they angry with each other if they were best friends? And we're going to learn about the circumstances behind that. We're going to find out how Hugo ends up at Wolfgang Academy, which is one of the world's premier karmastry academies. And he gets in through, his own method. He finds his way to get in there. I'm not going to spoil how that happens, but he's going to get into Wolfgang. The most of the book, the acts 2 and 3 happen at Wolfgang. We're going to meet a bunch of new characters. We're going to meet the fortune telling club, who you guys have gotten to see some glimpses of. Kazuo, who's the president of the fortune telling club, who's been this kind of mysterious character. People are like, who is he and what's this all about? And we have to be cagey about these things because we don't want to spoil the story, right? But Kazuo shows up in this next book, and you get to meet the other members of the fortune telling club. We get to learn about a number of things. We get to see, well, what is this noodle shop that we keep hearing about, right? Like, what's that about? And the story follows Hugo going into Wolfgang Academy. I'm trying not to spoil much of it. I'm watching Ella like stare me down, but that's basically, we start the story then. At the end of the first book is a major event. Something major, serious happens that propels us into the story, where, as you guys know, Marco and Hugo are on the run, and we find out what happens at the end of book one. Takes them on the run. We find out a lot about who, some forces they're dealing against. We learn about Lucky and all sorts of stuff. So I'm trying to be cagey because I don't want to ruin the story, and I know that I have some friends here who are very good at keeping me from opening my mouth. Katie, I know you're out there and watching me. I'm keeping my mouth shut. But all these questions are going to be answered now. You're going to find Hugo's origin, Marco's origin. You're going to see karmastry at work. You're going to get to see other escape artists. You're going to get to meet major escape artists in this universe. You're going to get to see Wolfgang Academy. You'll get to see Andromeda, which is the capital of Fortuna, this like the birthplace of modern karmastry. We'll get to see Hugo and Marco's hometown of Big Dipper at the beginning, is where it starts. I mean, there's so many characters. There's one of the main characters we're going to learn about, Andy Creed, who she is one of our lead female characters in the story. And her story, she's the president of the newspaper club at Wolfgang, and she plays a major role in the story. Actually, if you've gone to the Kickstarter page and seen the poster art, you can see her on there. So she's going to be, it's kind of like the little teasing of her from some concept art. Mm-hmm. So that's what's going to be happening in this. I'm, again, keeping it vague. I don't want to tell you because I want you to experience the story, but you're going to experience it relatively quickly.
Experience it.
Yeah.
You're going to want to see it. It's not enough for us to use words. You know what I mean? You're going to want to see it, like, visually.
Well, and also we learn about something called the rabbit's foot, and this becomes something that's very important in this universe. And we find out about this rabbit's foot, and we've heard about it on television. And Hugo's brother, so Hugo's family, his oldest brother, Klaus, is a famous child actor in this world who's kind of estranged from the family, but he's like super famous in this universe, right? He's like, he plays an escape artist on television called Ray Galaxy, which, shout out to Boofy and Mal, our mega fans, who they were the ones who suggested the names and for them, which was really awesome. Ray Galaxy is actually a reboot of an old show in this universe, and Hugo's brother Klaus is a famous escape artist on this show, and who's searching for the rabbit's foot. And it's like this cliche, it's kind of like finding, any sort of like mythical MacGuffin that you hear about, in our world. It's the similar thing, but there's a lot of the story revolves around the rabbit's foot. Um, and theme, as you guys have seen, themes of, you know, um, fate, destiny, luck, all these things are all tied in. They've been all carefully built in. I have to dance around it because I can't give it away because I want you to enjoy it.
Well, how about this? I'll ask you another question. So you talked a little bit about the Kickstarter page and seeing Andy on the poster, which is great. But there's actually another little teaser about some design elements. Let's talk a little bit about Marco and
so,
his redesign a little bit.
so we made some changes. So what's funny is it's not really a change as much as it's bringing it forward. Anyone who's been here from the very start, from many years ago when I was first doing this, knows that there was a period where Marco was drawn with glasses, and he had glasses for some time, and I had revealed that canonically he has glasses, but he doesn't usually wear them. During one of our story sessions, Ella was like, "Can you please bring those glasses back? Can you please put the glasses on Marco, because I really think they're great and they really give him his own thing." Sure enough, I was like, you know what? I think that's a cool idea. I was like, we wanted to give him his own thing. Marco will be, so you're going to start seeing Marco with glasses, so don't be confused when you see it because he's wearing it. And in that poster, he's wearing glasses there. So yeah, that's the little behind the scenes on it.
I love it. I think that it's really great. We are bringing forward so many unique parts about characters. We don't want them to feel like here's a cookie cutter of Hugo part 2 and here's another cookie cutter of Hugo but a girl. You know what I mean? Like we don't want it to just be like these different versions of Hugo, or different characters. They're their own unique people, so the, we're bringing forward like heavy personality in all of them, and Hugo's probably going to be a little bit different than what you've thought about him, because he's entering his hero mode, and so he's going through his arc, and he's going to change so much, and we get to see that. So
Well, and one of Hugo's, so part of the planning of all this, so much time was spent. I remember during those like live streams where I would start sweating because I know Mark would ask me when the book was coming, when the book is coming.
yeah.
And he's been asking for a long time. Okay. Like he's like, and not only him, everyone else has been asking, when is it coming? And I had to be cagey. You guys know my feeling on retcons. Sometimes they're inevitable. A retcon is going to happen. Creators can't avoid all of them. But if you build the universe from the ground up properly, with all the major poles in place and the characters with it, you can avoid that. And the reason why I'm such a stickler on avoiding retcons is that I like stories that are purposeful, right? That are written with intent. And when you get to the end of the story, that you go, oh my gosh, look what the author did. All these things are connected to lead here. None of that was by coincidence. Unlike some other creators, they will just kind of create as they go, and it's kind of like a happy accident as it goes through. But I always get disappointed when I find out about that, because I go, but that wasn't what you meant. You didn't mean that earlier, right? When you wrote that or did that. It's like you're just kind of like reverse connecting it. And I was determined not to have that with Flux Destiny. I said, and that's why it took me so long to get to this point, was that, an 18 volume series, or when it was a 7-book series, it's a lot of work. And to get all those things to be connected and make sense means that I had to do all the heavy lifting. I felt like I was underground for many years, like digging out the foundation, right?
Yeah.
Like digging everything out. And, now with everything in place, and one of the major planks was the magic system and finalizing the RPG and getting all those things in place. That was the proof that we were there, right? We were on the verge of like, and I said this when we launched the RPG. I said, I want you guys to know this is a special moment, because the fact that we're even doing this shows you that we're about to be doing the mainline story.
If it's playable, then it's solid enough. At least in most cases. There's arguments, but if it's playable, then it's ready.
You just, I've mentioned this before. I always like paraphrase this, but I've always heard, I say this every time, but it's so important. What gives your world authenticity and what gives you as an author authority to speak about the world, and all these words are connected, author, authority, authenticity, is because you obsess about those things, right?
Mm.
Upset. That's why the great creators, people like really love their worlds. You know, Lord of the Rings being one. Like, think of that. Think of the amount of work that went into creating that, because it feels real. Our job is to, as creators, is to give you an escape. Sometimes that escape is just for fun. Sometimes it's to inspire you. Sometimes it's to, you know, make you laugh. Whatever the case may be, and making that escape, and so that you can suspend your disbelief going into our universe, means that we have to do the proper work to create the illusion, right? And so
Mhm.
that was very important for me.
Yeah. Well, you know, we're kind of nearing the end of our time here. So is there any like thing
Oops.
that you want to say about the story, or final thoughts, or what we can look forward to, like maybe talk about what stretch goal you're excited about, or something like that to sort of pull
Yeah,
it
so
all
let's
together.
let's talk about some of this. So I brought up the graphics, so you guys, if you haven't backed yet, Ella's been putting it in the comments. I accidentally, Hugo kind of like jumped off in front of her face. So I'm sorry. I had to, the graphic was not prepared for you to be there. So I'm going to move Hugo down here in the corner. He's there, but he kind of
I'll
like
talk
jumped in
as
front of her.
Hugo. You move his mouth, and I'll do a voice for him.
I thought I raised him better. I'm going to have some talk with him later about being so rude and jumping in front of you. But if you haven't backed us, there's a link below, go.fluxdestiny.com/Kickstarter. That's a quick way to get there. Ella will also post in the comments the official link as well. But let's talk about what we're trying to do. You were talking about the stretch goals and what we're trying to do. So the initial amount, which we were like at 80% last time, a few minutes ago, that you told me about what we're trying to do, you know, was to start getting some initial help. And we have a couple of different tiers, right? Hey, if we can get to, I think the first one was 15,000. Is the
It's
first
10.
is 10. The first stretch goal is 10,000. Then we can start doing the Spanish translation, which
Very excited about that.
we're really excited about that. You know, I'm being Hispanic myself. I want to be able to bring this universe to the Spanish speaking audience, and we have them. We see them in Twitter. We see them in our social media, and we want to make it more accessible to them. And we'll be able to do that for this. And you know, I want to do the
Mhm.
same for the RPG. So that's the first stretch goal. The second stretch goal was, what was it? 15?
Yep, the second stretch goal is 15, and I believe it's let me just pull it up so I don't say anything wrong. Oh, the color cover. The cover is going to be in color now for
Yeah,
the
so we'll
first
be able
stretch
to
goal.
get, so that'll be the next thing, color, and we'll be able to have some variants. We have some really awesome
Mhm.
guest artists who are going to do variant covers, will be really cool. We're really excited about that. The next two stretch goals beyond that also help us boost the production speed. You know, if
Yep.
we can hit those other production goals, I'll be able to hire on help. I will do all the drawing, the initial drawing of the pages, but then have help to do cleanup and to do uh, the screen tones and grayscale work. That takes a lot of work. When I do one of those pages, it takes it's a lot of work to do a single page, right? And so
It's
usually
about 3
when,
days.
yeah, I mean, it's a
3 days
lot
or
of
more.
work. It can take from the planning to the finish out. So when you see manga, like your favorite manga series, for example, you know, they have a team. They have the main creator who's doing the main work, and they have a couple people who help do the cleanup work and screen tones and lettering and things like that. If I had at least one other artist working with me, it would make a huge impact on the speed that I could do this. If I had two, so our goal is if we had two artists working with us, I could be producing 2 pages a day. That would be the output goal. Is I'd be doing 2 pages a
Mhm.
day, um, and the pipeline would be going through with, you know, with the other artists, and they'd be finishing through, and we'd have this. That's how we can get to 2 volumes a year if I can get that
Yeah.
help. So our
The
stretch.
difference between
Go ahead.
December of next year and the summer of 2025. So it's
Yeah,
the
it's a
difference between
huge.
December 2025 and you know, the summer. And then it just keeps accelerating. You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
Past that point. So that's the goal.
That's the goal, and it's a huge deal for us to get there. If we can get there, we are on it. So now we're entering this era where we're going to be producing your the you're going to be we are entering the mainline story era. So now you're seeing the story starting November 23rd is the day where you're going to start seeing the pages. It's already in pre-production. I'm already drawing pages. Things are already
Hmm.
going. So we're going to already have a backlog before we get started. Anything you guys can do to help support us to hit, you know, not only to hit our goal, but to help us reach those stretch goals and bring in that help will help build this community and make it open to other people and bring other people who, you know, one of my goals with Flux Destiny was not only to create a great story, but to create a community and an IP that people were proud of, the way that people used to be proud of, like Star Wars, for example, or other universes, right? There used to be this pride to belong to those fandoms, and you know, for various reasons, things, you know, just toxicity and all these things that are happening have made these other universes really difficult. This universe, we've worked really hard, and what's so great about this universe and fandom is that our fans like take that seriously. Like they're in the community bringing in those good vibes and nurturing that and helping it, and they're proud of it. Look how they showed up in a big way for this Kickstarter. You know, you guys are showing your pride. You've put in, you know, these you know, being big backers in this universe for what we're doing is a big deal, and you've shown that. And the more people we can expose to this, especially when the story starts going, the more story I can tell faster. And
Hmm.
we're doing a YouTube series. Actually, we talked about this a while back. Like I was showing Ella the other day. I don't want to show you my disgusting blisters, but I've got like blisters on my hand now from all the drawing we've been doing.
Hmm.
We're going to be doing these YouTube series where we've cast voices for Marco and Hugo, and they're going to be. We're going to do stories about karmastry, for example, and like not stories, how tos or
Like
lore
information.
videos. Right? You tell them.
Yeah.
I'm tripping over myself. You tell them.
We're basically doing like sort of VTuber, like PNG tuber, where Hugo and Marco are explaining the lore of the world and going deep dives into specific topics and going from like very broad topics about like karmastry to like very specific ones about like Tauruses and all kinds of stuff. And we've got voice actors and all and everybody there. Not only that, but we have more Flux Fantasy coming out. Flux Fantasy, the advanced mechanics are coming out in November. They will be coming out so soon. Not only that, some of you have backed the RPG level in the Kickstarter, which has the mainline story where you get to play with Hugo and Marco, and that's Kickstarter exclusive, you know. So we're gonna give it to you there, and you guys can go play and be in groups with them, and it's gonna be so much fun. And we have actually another Flux Fantasy story that's gonna come out as well on top of that, and the maps are beautiful and gorgeous, and there's going to be Wolfgang maps and all kinds of stuff in there that's going to be so cool. It's just like everything that we do, like now that this Kickstarter is out, it's all going to start coming like an avalanche. Like we have the YouTube series, and we're gonna have let's plays, and we're gonna have that whole series for Flux Fantasy, which is gonna be fun, and so much more art. And then the graphic novels will start, and then we might be doing something else on webtoons. It's just a huge. It's gonna be like an avalanche. Like you guys have started rolling this snowball, and you don't understand how, you know, even just you know, just supporting and liking and sharing has suddenly become here we are, you know, and it's here, and surprise, you know, we have all this stuff that we've just been waiting. We're like a cracking dam, and it's gonna like explode, you know, and just flood everything, and it's gonna be beautiful. So yeah, we're very
It's
very excited.
because of you guys. It's because of you guys that we are able to get to this point. It's because of you guys who not only support the Kickstarter but have bought our prints and our merch, or support us
Mhm.
consistently on Patreon, or buy the RPG books. All these things you've done give us the resources we need to make this better and bigger. and we can't do it without you, right? And so a little indie studio like us, lives on that, right? To be able to make it happen. And I know we're going to be looking back a few years from now and thinking that this was quaint, that this was a quaint. For us, this is a big production right now. This is a big deal right now. In fact, Entity jokes, I think he joked this time, but I think the first time he thought this was a pre-recorded video, right? Because we actually have graphics and it's not all janky and breaking down. No, I've got my act together with this stuff. Ella, Mark was asking about the achievements. Do you want to cover that?
Absolutely. So the achievements are something that not a lot of Kickstarters do. I think it's kind of a newer trend now. But basically what they are is it's a way that you can sort of give back and get rewards for everybody in the Kickstarter without having to, put money forward. So there's like a couple of different things that you can do, and if we reach a certain level on something, we get a point. And then however many points we get a, reward. So for example, like if we fund the Kickstarter, that's 1 point. And so when we get 1 point, RC is going to draw a new digital desktop that everybody who's participating in the Kickstarter will get. And then there's other things like we're trying to expand, our fandom, and so we're hoping that new people join our Patreon. That's sort of like what helps sustain us when we're not doing huge Kickstarters like this. Things like if you want to go to our page on X right now, we have the trailer pin. So if you help us retweet that and we get to 100, then that's also a point. So we're also trying to do stuff like sell as many core rulebooks as we can to bring more people into Flux Fantasy. If you guys haven't subscribed to Webtoons, getting to 500 is also another point. And then, of course, our trailer, which is up on YouTube right now, we're just trying to get to 2,000 views. And so it's just these things that you can do as a community that sort of extend your support without having to extend your wallet a little bit. But we wanted to provide achievements. So if we get 1 point as a community, our achievement is we get a new desktop, a digital desktop. 3 points, RC is going to make a Copic marker variant cover, which will be very cool and is time consuming, and so is a good, we're grateful for that. 6 points, I'm gonna do a free Flux Fantasy minigame that it will be available to everybody in the Kickstarter. I think it's gonna be revolving around the Honto, so hopefully we'll get to that. That'll be really fun. And then at 10 points, we have been talking about this for a long time. We know that you guys want this. It will be coming, whether or not we hit this, but it just will be accelerated much faster because this would be a huge achievement to get to 10 points. That would mean that we did so much for this Kickstarter. Is that the Hugo plushie will go into development, and we're going to take some serious time with it and make it look very, very good. Because we know that you guys are so excited for that one. So, but it'll be like his canon, outfits and, hair looking correct.
I feel called out, Ella. I feel called out.
So all that to say that if you have joined the Kickstarter but haven't scrolled all the way down to the bottom and done each of those things, it's something that hopefully you can do pretty quickly, and just make sure that you've checked off all of those things, and that will help us reach some of our other achievements that will be available to everybody who has supported us at any tier in the Kickstarter.
And something you could check out if you haven't checked out the Kickstarter page yet, there's actually a secret reveal in there, because you can see the cover of the RPG, the official cover of Volume 1 of the cover. And the cover art was done by Gabriele, you guys may know him from Twitter, friend of mine. He's really amazing artist. He did the cover art for the RPG, and it features this really awesome Hugo cover. You should go look at it because it's really beautiful, and it's like a little Easter egg for people who dig into the Kickstarter and scroll down. You can see the poster art for it. There's also some pretty amazing rewards in there, so I think pretty unique stuff that we've got. One of the tiers that I was really excited that people were taking advantage of is like the upper tiers of it. You can have your pre-approved OC be in the story, like as a background character, like have your character canonized in the Flux Destiny universe. We have all sorts of really cool, bigger tier options that you guys can check out as well in there, and that many people have taken advantage of. And that's what's got us to where we are today. But you don't have to. We have tiers at every level. Starting from $1 all the way up, to the top. So you can back at any level and support what we're doing and be what we're part of our mission here. So
Oh,
check it
and we
out.
didn't even say the biggest thing. I think a lot of people might have skipped by this. If you are on the $10 tier up, when the first novel is done, you will get a digital PDF of the full thing. No strings attached. We just are so excited to get it out to you. Obviously, it's going to, if you back the Kickstarter, you'll be seeing the pages one by one as they come out. So you will have already seen all of it, but then you'll get the full, like, digitized, PDF of it. And it's a huge deal. We don't want to, uh, we it's just something that we're very excited to give out, and it's going to come obviously when everything is done and over with. But yeah, that's something too. So read the Kickstarter carefully. Go through and look
Yeah,
at
I
all
think you'll be surprised.
the fun
I think you'll
stuff in
be
there.
surprised. Ella had some fun ideas too. We have like a socks tier where you can get like these fortune telling club socks that feature the official pattern. Like, so the pattern that's on the socks. So
Mm.
whenever I do Kazuo art, for example, you notice that he's got the hoodie with the stars and the moons. I That's time consuming for me to draw that, and so what I did was I created my own pattern that I use and I map over him whenever I draw him. So whenever you see it, it's an asset that I map over him and I map to his hoodie. I used that exact asset to create the socks. So the official socks for Kazuo are the exact pattern that are used
Hmm.
in the comics. So, which I thought was pretty cool. This lady's idea. I thought it was a fun idea.
Yeah, well, what's cool too is that we wanted we think that it's interesting when you kind of can, like, pyramid up, and so the upper tier levels actually get pretty much all of the rewards of the lower tiers as well. So if you really want something, it's going to be there, and it's a good deal, as you go up and you get more and more of these things that, you know like the socks are at the $50 level, but you can also get the Flux Fantasy game at 150, and you get all the other stuff that comes underneath it. And so um it's worth it if you're really interested in, getting a bunch of this stuff. And we're very excited about it, and we hope that you enjoy. We wanted to give you everything. We wanted to just be like, you take this and you take this, and so we were very strategic about it. And trying our best to. We just want to give everything to you guys. We want to be like, no, go take it, go do it. Like, this will be fun. Like, you take this and this. So, we hope that that is something that you feel like the rewards are really beefy and worth it. We wanted them to feel huge. Like, we wanted you to get into it and be like, whoa, like, that is, like, there's 15 items in this. And so,
And
yeah.
like that was one of the big things too. Was like one of the cool tiers is that I haven't done commissions for years, and I've been like, oh, maybe I'll open commissions, maybe I'll do what. Well, we worked in commission of me doing your Flux Destiny OCs in there too, and so there's all this awesome stuff that you guys should check out in there. Um, this has been awesome. We're sitting at 80%.
Hmm.
Wouldn't it be awesome if we wake up in the morning surprised and we hit 100 and we can make an announcement that we did a Kickstarter in 24 hours? Would have
Yeah.
just been like blown our. You don't understand. She and I have been working on like, okay, how are we going to do this for a whole month? Like, how are we going to do it without driving people crazy? Right? Because we don't want to be like, we got other stuff we got to do too. And we don't want to just be like numbing you with this stuff. So we hit 80. We're already at 80% on day one, which is a statistical like anomaly in Kickstarter world for something like this. Is huge. Share it with your friends. Help us bring new people into this universe at any level, at any of those levels in there. Um, Again tonight, I as we kind of close out, I want to thank you all again. I Please forgive me if I've left out your name. It's like there's so much going on that I can't recall everyone's names. But all of you, Jad, I really appreciate Jacoby, all of you who have been part of this and have supported and come in at these levels means a lot to us, and your support and love, even the folks, especially a shout out to the folks who don't know me at all, who've just come in. You don't know how many people who don't know us have come in at these giant levels, who have gotten excited about the concept of Flux Destiny and are just dipping their toes into the community. That's a huge like symbol of faith in what we're doing and means a lot. And I think it makes me proud because I feel like we've worked so hard to create this Flux Destiny brand and universe and community that people feel like, hey, these guys know what they're doing. You know, like I said, I spent many years in the entertainment industry producing anime and movies and TV and things that I wanted to bring all that professionalism here. And we treat it that way. We are a little indie studio that is going to do some big things. So as we close out tonight, thank you guys so much for this. Now it's coming up. I got to careful. I'm going to start getting emotional over this. Thank you for making this happen, because this has been a long road to get to this point. I have put so much of my own time, love, money, sweat, and energy into this for 10 years now to get to this point. And there are no words to describe how much I appreciate what you guys have done in tonight. We would have never thought hitting 80% was something that was possible tonight. So thank you for backing Flux Destiny. Thank you for believing in this universe. Thank you to all of you out there who, if you may not have been able to back, are people who push us, you know, on social, who bring folks in to this universe. You know, we've got our epic people who bring in, you know, Josh, Jad, all these folks who are like out there, like who are like our cheerleaders and go recruit people and bring them into our universe. We've had such a great group of human beings in this universe. I don't have the words to say thank you, except thank you, because it's hard. It's hard because it's just hard to have the words to properly express how much it means to an indie creator. So before I start getting too emotional on here, thank you guys. Ella, thank you. I appreciate everything you've done. I don't have the words for that either. Hope you guys have a great night. I hope to be able to announce to you tomorrow that we've hit 100%, which would be amazing. But even if not, I will take 80 because that is a huge accomplishment. So hope you guys have a great night. I'm so excited to bring you on this story, on this journey with us. November 23rd is when the action all starts, when we start getting into the story. Looking forward to seeing you guys there. So we're going to close out tonight by playing the trailer. You can watch the trailer on YouTube as well. So I'll play it once. You might want to turn up your volume because I think it's a little low. If you're wearing earphones, be careful.
I fixed the audio.
Oh, did you? Okay, she fixed it.
On the YouTube one, not the one that you have, but the YouTube one.
The one that I have is the one that you sent me yesterday, or the one that you put up on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Okay. Then be careful. Be careful with your ears. Like, just think if you have earphones. So I'm gonna play the trailer. Go catch it on YouTube. And you guys have a great night. And thank you for making this dream come true for me. Good night.
It starts here. No takebacks, no shortcuts. Just destiny. See you soon.